Mobile Suit Gundam, Char's Counterattack, the movie that promised to finally put to rest the long rivalry between Amuro Ray, the original Gundam pilot, and Char Aznable, the original Char clone. It was kind of a sucky movie. Yeah, I never cared for it. It was just such a leaping character for Char to suddenly decide to kill everyone after his characterization in Z-Gundam, but that's only a small gripe I had compared to the biggest problem with the movie. All of the terrible new characters it introduced, especially Quest Pariah. Quest Pariah is the single most annoying and hateable character in all of anime, and the movie spends most of the runtime on her. But we're not here to talk about the movie, we're here to talk about the PS1 game. Now you might remember my review of the Z-Gundam PS1 game a few months back. You could call this a sequel to that game as much as the movie was to the original Zeta. Now you might be wondering how they managed to get a full game out of a story as short as Char's Counterattack. Well, the answer is they didn't, really. This game is incredibly short, far shorter than the Zeta game. The main campaign takes about 90 minutes to finish. Char also has his own campaign when you finish Armoros, but that's also 90 minutes and mostly reuses the same cutscenes. Furthermore, only half of the campaign is dedicated to Char's Counterattack. The other half are retellings of popular one-year war moments, because not enough Gundam games have done that apparently. Good grief, I feel like I've seen Lala die more times than Batman's parents at this point. This game just feels incredibly half-baked, at least in terms of story and content. You can play as other characters in the battle mode, but it just feels like the Amuro and Char show with all these different variations. I made a comment in the Z-Gundam review about being able to have Amuro versus Char if you want. Well, that seems to be the selling point of this game. All the Amuro versus Char you could ever want. The missions are mostly these one-on-one mobile suit battles. You can play it safe with the beam rifle, or you can go in melee with the beam saber. You also have alternate weapons this time around, which are different depending on the mobile suit. Armor in the new Gundam has funnels and a bazooka, and some characters have decoys which they can throw out. I don't remember that from the movie, or any Gundam show for that matter. That might be new to this game, or my Gundam knowledge is just rusty again. You activate them with the regular attack button while holding R1, so there's no need to sloppily switch between weapons unless you're changing from rifle to saber. It has the same problems as Zeta in that regard. It's very slow and can break the flow of battle. It's also easy to forget which weapon does what, as you only have those vague words on the bottom there to remind you. You don't want to be firing the slow bazooka when armor is about to stab you up the ass, but that's exactly what happened to me many times. There does seem to be some added melee actions when you get close to each other, as you can see here. Unfortunately, the manual is in Japanese, so I couldn't figure out how to do this myself, but the AI sure does, and it will punish you if you run in like an idiot. The awesome beam saber charge returns, but it works a little differently in this game. You have to wait for the reticule to go red still, same if you actually want to hit anything with your guns, but this time you have to be at the correct distance when you press the attack button. This made it far less reliable than it was in Zeta. There were many times where I thought I was in a great position to rush in, but my character stupidly swung their beam saber at thin air. Or space, I suppose. Once again giving Amuro the perfect opportunity to bazooka me in the face. Something he learned from Char, I'm sure. Your Vernier gauge has a little bit more relevance now as it's consumed far quicker. This balances the gameplay slightly and limits the amount of times you can use your precious thrust attack, which I found myself using constantly in Zeta. But it feels like an overcorrection. Now boost consumes your Vernier so quickly that it becomes pointless to even use. You can also be staggered now, which means you can take tons of damage if you don't have your guard up. I found this quite annoying as it felt like it slowed down the pace of battles. You will quickly come to low funnels as they seem like they can come out of nowhere at any time and stagger you for about 20 seconds. Which, to be fair, is probably how they work in the actual show as well. So yeah, nothing too drastic changed here from Zeta, just a few extra weapons to add variety and some not so great alterations. The gameplay is still really fun, but I feel as if something's been lost. The simplicity that works so well in Zeta has been a tad overcomplicated here. There was also so much variety in Zeta that is just completely absent here. All the locations are set in space, which just starts to feel incredibly dull when you don't have the occasional Earth battle. And I know that Char's Counterattack didn't have any battles on Earth, but the one-year war did, and this game didn't have any problems about flashing back to that. Something that has been improved is the added mission variety. Sometimes you fight multiple mobile suits at once, and there are even boss fights. Well, one, more accurately, against that vixen Quest Pariah. I don't remember Amuro straight up killing Quest like this in the movie, but I haven't seen it in a while, and I am not watching it a third time just for this review. Didn't it have something to do with Hathaway Noah? He's not in this game, by the way. And then there's that one mission where you have to play Missile Commander Char. As I mentioned before, there is kind of an arcade mode where you fight through round after round of enemies. There are extra endings to be found here. You have Classic Amuro and Char to choose from, Counterattack and Zeta. You can even play as Quattro Bigina. Oh, I'm sorry, I meant Quattro Veg... What? No! No, they didn't! They couldn't have! The music is surprisingly bad. It doesn't sound like anything from the movie or anime at all. It sounds like those midis I used to download off the internet back in the early 2000s. I expect more from a CD-based console, especially since Beyond the Time plays during the credits, which I'm not allowed to play in this video because of Bandai's insane content ID. So here's something that won't get me banned in all countries, okay? Anyway, let's see how this ranks on the import-friendly scale. Oh wow, remember that? I introduced it back in the Z-Gundam review, and it has finally returned. Welcome back, import-friendly scale. Welcome back. Well, all of the menus are in English. The gameplay is a little bit more complicated this time around, but you shouldn't have that much trouble learning it. Especially now that you have this video. The story is all in Japanese, so unless you've watched the movie, none of it will make any sense. So with all of this in mind, I award it the same rank as Z-Gundam, a rank 4, a very easy game to import and play. Hey look, it comes with a free trading card. I will add this to my collection of other trading cards I got with Japanese PS1 games. So I've been SnicketySlice. Join me next week when we take a look at another anime-based game, Gunslinger Girl for the PS2. I'll see you then. I think you might want to pick a new alias, Char.